Perfect. CQ RAYNET. This is Golf 4 November Romeo Charlie, operated today by Greg, Golf 0 Golf Uniform Bravo, serving as net control for the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net. This net meets each Sunday afternoon at 1600 hours local time and is open to all amateur radio operators interested in emergency communications. The primary purpose of the net is to provide the opportunity for members to test equipment, exchange traffic, news, opinions and information, with additional information available on www.raynet-uk.net. This is a directed net, which means all calls are to be made to the net control station unless you are instructed otherwise, and all RAYNET-UK operators are invited and encouraged to check into the net. When you do check in, please announce your call sign slowly and phonetically, followed by your name, and if you wish to leave the net immediately after checking in, then please call in and out. Otherwise, if you want to leave after subsequent turns, then please make it clear you want to check out at that time. After I've heard a few check-ins, I'll repeat what I've heard. If you're not acknowledged, then please do try again. If you miss your turn to call in, I will call from any strays at the end of the UK and international sections. So I'll now begin taking check-ins to the net, as usual, in call sign number order. So any stations with figure 9 in their call wishing to check in, please call now. This is G4 and RC. RC, second call, any stations figure 9, please call now, over. For RC, nothing heard, lots of 8, figure 8 stations, please go ahead, over.
Golf 8, Echo Yankee, G8 EEY, name is Mike.
Echo Yankee, good afternoon, Mike. Any other 8s, please? G4 and RC, over. Let's have 7s, stations figure 7 in that call sign, please go ahead, over.
Golf 7 November Echo Hotel, G780. Good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon to all.
Good afternoon, Graham. Any other 7s, please? G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, no 7s heard. Let's have 6s. Stations figure 6 in their call sign, please go ahead, over. RC, second call, any stations figure 6 in their call sign, please go ahead, over. G4 and RC, nothing heard, let's have 5, stations figure 5 in their call sign, please go ahead, over. For an RC, we don't have many 5s in the organisation, so let's hurtle through to the 4s, stations figure 4 in their call sign, please go ahead, over.
G4 in RC, G4K UK. Good afternoon, Greg. Alpha 4 Kilo India Lima, Philip, South Sussex.
Golf 4 Hotel Uniform Foxtrot, Phil. RNLC, so I've got Trevor, G4KUJ, Philip, G4KIL, and Phil, G4HUF. Any other fours, please? G4NRC, over. See, nothing heard, so let's have threes. Stations figure 3 in their call sign, please go ahead, over. Golf 3 Zulu Hotel X-ray, Ian, in and out.
Sledge, formerly M0 JVZ.
For an RC, so I've got Ian, Golf 3 Zulu Hotel X-ray, who's in and out, and Les, with another new call sign I've got to remember, Golf 3 Mike Kilo X-ray. Good afternoon to you, Les, staying with me. Any other threes, please? G4 and RC, over. For an RC, nothing heard, so let's go to the twos. Stations figure 2 in their call sign, and that includes you, remaining intermediate twos. Please call now, over.
Two Echo Zero, Charlie Mike Sierra, calling from Midway.
To India 1, Whiskey Bravo Charlie, name is Agus, RAYNET Northern Ireland, in and out, please.
G4 and RC, good afternoon to Colin, to Echo Zero, Charlie Mike Sierra, staying with me, and Agus, good afternoon to you again, to Echo 1, Whiskey Bravo, to Echo 1, try again, to India 1, Whiskey Bravo Charlie, shouldn't read the log. Good afternoon to you, I guess, and copy you in and out. Any other two stations, please? G4 and RC, over. For an RC, nothing heard, so let's have ones. Stations figure 1 in their call sign, please go ahead, over. G4 and RC, second call, any stations figure 1 in their call sign, please go ahead, over. For an RC, then let's go for Mike Zero stations of any regional secondary identifier, please call now, over.
Mike Zero, Juliet Sierra Alpha, Alan, any Suffolk, in and out today, please, Greg.
Mike Zero, Juliet Sierra Alpha, good afternoon, Alan, copy to you in and out. Any other Mike Zero stations of any regional secondary identifier, over? For an RC, nothing heard, so let's have Golf Zero stations of any regional secondary identifier, please, over.
Golf Whiskey Zero, Juliet Lima X-ray. Good afternoon, Greg. Name is Andy. RAYNET Pembrokeshire. No traffic today, so in and out, please. Over.
DW0 JLX, good afternoon, Andy. Thanks for tail-ending the regular call-ins again. Copy to you in and out. So good afternoon to you. Do we have any UK stations who missed their turn to call in that want to do so? Please call now, over. RC, nothing heard to any international stations. That's usually our colleagues in the Northern Band of Norway, Arran in Ireland, Aries of Slovakia. Any of our international colleagues, please. G4 RC, over. Lima Alpha 6 India Mike. Lima Alpha 6 India Mike. Just got a brief burst of carrier from you, Hans. Try again, over. G4 and RC. Nothing heard from Hans, but I will try calling him in turn. Right, any UK or international stations looking at you, the G1 it blipped in. Wish to check into the RAYNET-UK activity period, please call now. G4 and RC, over.
Just in case you didn't hear.
G4 and RC, Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta. I didn't hear you because your first transmissions were unreadable, didn't break the detection at all on the servers, and that one lost all after didn't. So, copying that as a check-in. Golf 1, Yankee Whiskey Yankee, you blipped into the net. Are you wishing to check in? G4 and RC, over.
Yeah, thank you, G1YWY. Name here is Mark. Nice to be on board.
Right, time for a server glitch. Hans, Lima Alpha 6 India Mike, you with us, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NLC, Lima Alpha 6 India Mike, affirmative. I'm not sure what happened because I did call in, but the channel went completely silent. G4 NLC, Lima Alpha 6 India Mike, in and out.
Lima Alpha 6 India Mike, thanks Hans, yes, we just got a brief burst of audio from you, then nothing, so that's what's worth the check. Okay, that concludes the check-ins. Let's start with the script. Reminder to everybody, Graham G7NEH is live streaming the net to YouTube today. Past live streams and recordings are available by searching G7NEH, that's Golf 7 November Echo Hotel on YouTube. And if you leave him a like and subscribe, that's much appreciated. So he knows people are actually watching and using the service. The UK has a number of weather warnings in force from today through to Tuesday, all associated with heavy rainfall, and probably all in areas that can't cope with much more rain, leading to increased flood risks. Some local resilience forums, such as Cumbria, were starting to get ahead of the game at the end of last week, raising awareness and putting plans into place. But from a more RAYNET viewpoint, do we treat these warnings as a reason to check equipment, or wait for the less frequent named storms? Older listeners may remember the Ministry of Defence system known as MOLD, which shared the 70cm band with radiometers as a home defence network. Things moved on and that network was closed down in the early 2000s, but a news item this week about a long-term procurement programme for a framework covering specialised military-grade tactical communication and information systems expected to support UK defence and wider security users raises a little sense of déjà vu. If this goes ahead, it'll be an £8 billion programme covering the period June 26 through to June 2034. What frequencies may be in the plans are currently unknown, but the generic VHF and UHF are mentioned in the initial documentation. Finally, Christmas is coming, and while we never plan it, the DMR net has a habit of taking a break over the holiday period. There's a habit that people want to continue this year, as it would probably mean no net on the 28th. So, over to you for your thoughts. Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC from G8EY. Good afternoon all, good afternoon Greg. Yeah, all copied from there. Norfolk is currently 8 degrees centigrade, well my bit is. 1015 millibars, 88% relative humidity, 24% cloud cover, so it's not bright anymore, it's dark. 15-mile-an-hour winds from 189 degrees. Yeah, it's interesting with things coming up and maybe happening, but here in Norfolk we've had no contact with the LRF since about February, March this year. It's a bit worrying. Keep prodding, but I don't get any responses, so I don't know whether they know whether we exist anymore or not. And just a reminder of the COM meeting on Thursday, the 18th, this week. And also looking at the availability for January, there's only me and Peter that's put any entry in. So be interesting to see if people can actually get into that Excel spreadsheet from G8DEY.
Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee G4 and RC returning. Okay, yeah, mindful of the sheets to be filled in. I'm actually off work this week, trying to catch up on a massive backlog of things that need doing. So I'll add that one onto my list and get to it. LRFs, I do wonder, and getting that thought myself, whether or not lack of contact means either regime change, and I think in Cheshire one of the stalwarts of the LRF on the clerical side may have moved on. Means we just need to reach back out and remind people that things do still exist, or it might have been reprioritised in some new job takeover. So yeah, okay. I think we said last week we were in a similar situation for contacts, and it is one. Maybe it's the time for the obligatory Christmas card, Mike, so that they know you exist. Right, let's see what's going on the YouTubes. G798, G4 and RC, over.
G4 and RC, G798. Yeah, good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon to all on the net. So last week's viewing figures for the net were 28 views and 4 likes, and at the moment we have 3 viewing and a total of 6 views in total on this week's net. So yeah, that's where we are at the moment. Not much to report from this end. I'm currently printing out a file, the Christmas ornament, for somebody at work, so you may hear the 3D printer in the background, and that's it really. So if you want to leave me out the next round, please, Greg, and I'll obviously listen till the end. G4 NRC, G798.
798, G4 and RC returning. Okay, no background noise was audible to me on that one, so that's a winner for that. As far as 3D printing here is concerned, Becca's working from home tomorrow, so I suspect it to be Tuesday before I do battle with the printer that doesn't like to print, and get that beaten into submission. Okay, and the viewing figures, wondering whether or not it's worth you punting those towards Liam, who's got a report to do for COM for Thursday. Just highlighting what you're doing to promote the net, etc. Anyway, 73's to you, copied out. And Trevor, G4KUJ, G4 and RC, over.
G4 and RC, G4KUJ. Good afternoon, Greg, and everybody else. Mainly this week I've been doing some experimental work on QR100. I listen into the AMSAT Net every Sunday morning on QR100, and Graham G3VEH has been down to Goonhilly to give the station down there a going over and tidy up with new computer and just tweaking the RF side on the dish and so on. So I thought I'd take the opportunity to see how my system sensitivity compared with Goonhilly, and I did that by using transmitting FL Digi Olivia on to the to QO100, and then decoding it on my system, and then also on the Goonhilly system. And I found that my system was about 3 dBs down on sensitivity at weak signal level compared with Goonhilly, which is about right, as they've got a 1.3 meter dish and I've got a 0.8 meter dish. So that was good, and also proved that you can copy Olivia OK fine using FL Digi, taking the audio off Goonhilly SDR. The other thing I've done is I've got 2 copies of FL Digi running on my laptop, so I can now have one run full duplex with one copy running continuously and picking up all traffic on from QO100, and using the other one for transmit, and also picking up the incoming traffic. So that's useful for checking out. Back to you, Greg. G4NRC, G4KUJ.
G4NRC returning. Okay, still gives me hope. Somewhere under the pile of stuff on my right-hand side is the amplifier to lift up the SDR on my left-hand side into transmitting a reasonable amount of power, I think, for CW and data up onto QO100. Would depend on the satellite dish that I have available. Did look at the lazy route out, one of the DX Patrol transverters, but since they've been got at, they're only selling the full duplex one now, which is quite a bit more expensive than the more conventional transverter that I'd been looking at about 2/3 the price, which was more amenable to me for buying and doing this. However, all part of the fun and forward planning. Right, Philip, meanwhile, has been swapping messages with me on JS8 call. G4KIL, G4NRC, over.
Yeah, G4NRC, G4KIL. Ooh, I'm interfering with something. There's a horrible motoring noise coming out of one of my speakers here. Let's move away from that. Okay, yes, indeed. Thank you for your message at, I think it was 3:15, and it sounds like you saw my acknowledged or my message back to you at, what was it, nearly 40 minutes ago now, isn't it? Yeah, that's good. That was good to see that. I think you come up a little bit when I sent it back as well. I think it was... I think it was still down at sort of minus 15, I think, but it had been minus 17, I think, when you sent it earlier. So that was good. I suppose the main things I've been doing I managed to successfully back up the SD card for both from my the Raspberry Pi I'm using on the JS8 and also the Raspberry Pi Zero that I've got for the hotspot I'm using here. So both of those, I've got backup copies of those now. One of the reasons that sort of precipitated that was I had a problem with appeared to have a slight problem with the real VNC connection to the Raspberry Pi I'm using, the JS8. It appeared to be killing the receive. I think I might have mentioned that last week when I went back on it. And I don't know if this happened before or after last week. Forgive me if I'm repeating myself, but I did follow some suggestions to update the server software, which then killed it completely because I needed to update the operating system. So it's turned out, but I wasn't really keen to do that before backing it up. So the real VNC server chat, which is automated, but almost certainly AI connected, because it was unlike most chats on these automated chats. It was very helpful and answered my questions very intelligently. And in the end, even effectively sent me an email to tell me how to get the older version of the server back onto my Raspberry Pi, which I did, and it's working again. So that is great. So that's good. Sorry I didn't get on to the HFNet itself this afternoon. As I suspected, I was tied up, and that will be true next week as well, I think. I'm unlikely to be clear in the afternoon. next week. The following week, which is when you're saying the DMR net might not be functioning, actually I'm reasonably available then, albeit I'll be almost certainly in a different location. Whether I get onto HF net depends. It may be trying to get on with a short wire antenna with only 5 watts. So we'll have to see what happens on that one. Maybe with the Olivia that might still work. That'll be more in the sort of Slough area timeout. So that might not be quite such a long distance to try and get to some of other stations. Have to see what happens on that one. Okay, the timeout probably means I've been speaking quite long enough, so I'll put it back to you, G4NRC, G4KIL.
G4KIL, G4NRC. Okay. Right, noting you would have been available for the 28th. It's the reason I actually remembered to raise it 2 weeks earlier. I think we normally say there's no formal net, therefore I don't have to start booching around finding news items and coordinating this, and it just turns into a bit of an ad hoc if anybody wants to share what Christmas presents they've got around that time. So we'll see how that develops and how people think about it. AI-based support, I do just worry about the amount of AI slop I'm having to deal with looking at videos and information produced at the moment. And I've got a little sense of it getting even worse when somebody's now made a text-based, that could be crazy, rather than a graphical user interface, the old text user interface, somebody's now made Gemini AI work into that as well. So it's getting everywhere. Right, we've got a few to go. Phil, G4HUF, G4NRC, over.
This is G4HUF. Good afternoon, Greg, and to everyone else on the net. Nothing exciting to report from this end. The only activity that I've been up to is the last time I was on the net. The last time I flashed up a radio. Interesting hearing comments about using pies for various radio applications. I've got 2 or 3 which are stowed at the moment out of the way. I keep on thinking I really must try and do something with them. But as yet, the round to it has not turned up, so that's not happened. I don't expect any radio type Christmas presents this year, but I'll certainly be around on the 28th if there is going to be a net. What else was there? Nothing else that I can recall at the moment, but you know, coming on the net and provoking thoughts about the pies, to do something sensible with them is nothing else is making me think. So it's good being on the DMR net as far as I'm concerned. It's jogging the grey cells. So on that note, I'm going to pass it back and leave me out on the next round. I'll continue to monitor, but you don't need to call me back. This is G4HUF.
G4NRC returning. Okay, Phil, showing you is out now, and yeah, you've got 2 or 3 stacked away. I just look around this desk. The ones I can see are the tip of the iceberg for the ones that are buried. I have lots of stuff to update, hence Philip's comments needling me a little. The things I've got to do, the Pi that, sorry, not the Pi, the single board computer that runs the other screen of net management, showing who's calling the script and the clock, is many versions behind where it should be, and it's going to be a royal pain to update. So I know I've got to get around to it, so if it's not now, it'll be over Christmas. Okay, 7-3s to you. Hopefully talk to you next week. Les, Golf 3, Mike Kilo X-Ray. Don't think that was picked for Morse usage. G3MKX, G4NRC, over.
G4 NRC G3 MKX. This is my old school radio club call sign. Doug Doughty, G3 FLS. He was the physics teacher, and he got as many people as he could into the radio club, which was very popular, and it was a nasty day outside, not so popular when it was a nice day outside. Anyway, sorry I've not been on. I have been rather poorly with cancer, and now I've got the after effects of pneumonia, and I am told by the local NHS walk-in that I've got to go to the doctor tomorrow, and I may have pleurisy, so things are not good. Yeah, sorry I've not been on, but my Raspberry Pi turned up its toes and died. One or two things went wrong with it, but Andy is the controller of the Leicester group. He waved his magic wand and breathed over it and what have you, and it's now working perfectly. The only thing is I cannot log on to any of the 50 ... talk groups, so at your convenience, if you can add that onto your list of things to do. I won't come back, because as I say, talking is very difficult, so I'll make this my final. So, G3 MKX, go and stand by.
MKX, G4 and RC returning. Okay, Les, interesting to get the backstory on why people have picked some of these calls. I look at how the Americans tend to treat their vanity call signs and search and stuff, and it's always about the shortest and the fastest for a contest, but what we seem to have noticed over here is something a lot different as it's rolled out into the UK. Sorry to hear about your raft of medical conditions, but the advice to go to the doctors will be well founded, so make it happen. I'd rather deal with some of the little stuff to avoid it affecting the big stuff, which is the way that we're thinking. Noted, I'm sure one of my conferences will also remind me of your need to get onto the RAYNET-UK server. Seem to remember you're okay with how to insert the appropriate bit of text into the hotspot setup, so I'll probably just drop you an email with the pointer to what to do and the help file, and then the specific text you need to enter in for your system as it stands at the moment. Do it that way. Okay, let's 7-3s to you, and Colin to Echo Zero Charlie Mike Sierra G4 and RC, over.
Very quickly before we go, Andy has already set all that up in the pie. Back to you.
Local Resilience Forum is still very good at the moment. In fact, in January we've got 2 rest centre exercises at different ends of the county. One of them's quite a big, actually home office based one, and another one that's for a local authority, but both of the areas are, as usual, expect to be very, very poor mobile phone signal areas. Then in February we've got our LRF meeting, and then again in March we've also got another sort of presentation to do, where the Fire Brigade have decided to bring all their senior officers together in one location, and all the members of the voluntary sector are given about 10 minutes to explain all about what we do. So looking forward to that. But apart from that, I haven't got anything else to add at the moment. Had the Starlink out and been doing updates on that while it's been a little bit less busy, shall we say. But yeah, I've got nothing else to come back through for the second over, so I'll say 7 3s for now. G4 NRC 20 CMS.
New Echo 0, Charlie Mike Sierra, G4 NRC returning. Okay, Colin, before you go, let's double with you, because of the race condition that happens between people coming in through Brandmeister and locally. Missed everything you said before January. Everything you said before January. Was there anything in that I needed to stick in the log? Over.
Not really. I was just saying that we've still got very good communications with our LRFs.
To Echo 0, Charlie Mike Sierra. Okay, understood. And yeah, it's intriguing how different counties work. I'm not sure I'd ever want it to be the same absolutely everywhere, because that'd get boring. But yeah, the massive differences we have across the country in LRF engagement for the voluntary sector full stop, let alone RAYNET, is just a little challenging. Okay, you've been updating Starlink. I've been watching Amazon Leo is teetering towards its launch date. And lots of people seeing what they can do with the Starlink. I'm going to call it Starlink Lite, but the £5, 500 kilobits per second system, which is making it onto the radar of the ARRL in the States, and they're now advocating that as a way forward, which I suppose it's okay for them because it's an American system. Right, 7-3 to you, Colin. Thanks for the input. Stephen, your signal was unreadable, as I say, on the first over and dropped out halfway through your second call. Mike 7, Victor Sierra Delta, G4 NRC, over. Mike 7, Victor Sierra Delta, G4 NRC, over. The might be's at the cadet hut, which is where it was difficult last time. Right, finally, and with great apologies, Mark, Golf 1, Yankee Whiskey Yankee, G4 NRC, over. Golf 1, Yankee Whiskey Yankee, G4 NRC, over. Yankee Whiskey Yankee, nothing heard. Okay, let's go back to the top of the list then. Take finals from the few that are still with me. This is what happens when I'm not on a time constrained net. Golf 8 Echo Yankee, back to you, Mike, G4 NRC, over.
G4 NRC from G8 EEY. Yes, well, I've got a 20-page document I can read you if you want, but I don't think I'll bother with that. Interesting to note that I got forward notification from Resilience Direct that they'll be going two-factor authorization roughly a month away in mid-January. I think it's about 10 days period where you either set up 2FA or you get FA. Yes, I must admit, you know, watching Colin's bit of doubling with Les is why I tend to run the Pi-Star dashboard continuously while I'm using the radio. Because if I see somebody has gone through the bridge before me, there's no point in my carrying on because I know it's not going anywhere. It's a bit of a pain, but that is the way I tend to operate. It's the only safe way for me. Yeah, thanks for running the net, Greg. I don't think there's anything else I can add, and I forgot to say, remember whether you said there was one next week, but I'll wait and see. From G8 EEY.
Freight Echo Yankee, G4 NRC returning. Yeah, to be try my own point here. Yeah, I watch the dashboards purely so I can see that bridges are working and gateways are working, but the satellite delay between me pushing a button and then seeing the feedback come back to me on dashboards, either my local PyStar or the RAYNET-UK server, it's just a little bit too long to confirm that sometimes, to realise the first 4 seconds you've been talking is pointless because it didn't get very far. And what I try and do is keep the gaps in and make sure we've got contact with people, so if I didn't have the dashboards and was just doing this on paper, it would still be possible. Next week should be a net. I do have to pick somebody up at 3:15. If they are late or there is a problem, there may be a problem. But we'll see what we can do. I'll have had a day to put something in the car if necessary, if I do have to move around a bit. So, but net is planned for next week. It just might be a bit lumpy. Okay, 7 3s to you, and Trevor, G4KUJ, G4 and RC over.
G4 and RC, G4KUJ. Yeah, okay, all round, all noted, and interesting that Colin's still got very good interaction with you. I wish it was like that more often. I think that was my finger dropping off the button. Okay, nothing really much further. The only comment about QR100 tests, I found that the data signal centre frequency coming back from Goonhilly and coming back via my system were about 50 Hertz different. Right, let's try that. This is a different radio. Yeah, the frequency control system on my system is logged onto the GPSK beacon, and Goonhilly is just logged to GPS. But I reckon with 50 Hertz difference at 10 gigs, it's not really worth worrying about too much, is it? Although it is noticeable on data. Nothing else from me. Cheers for now, and catch up in due course. G4 NRC, G4KUJ.
G4KUJ, G4 NRC returning. Okay, yeah, it's interesting how it just seems to get to see a second over that things start to break up a little bit more off that radio you were just using. So I don't know whether it's a post-it note on it for next week, and see whether it is radio related or not, as to why we get a few syllables from you and then we go on a digital blaze of glory. But yes, a 50 Hertz difference over that kind of path and those two massively different frequency sources, or frequency standards, is actually quite good. Like you say, 50 Hertz can hurt some of the narrow data modes quite a bit. But as long as you're hearing what you want to hear and click on the waterfall, you don't really notice. It's all relative, I suppose. Right, the last over I'm likely to get, but I will call for the missing 2 at the end anyway. Philip, G4KIL, final from you please, G4NRC, over.
Yeah, G4NRC from G4KIL. Yeah, thanks very much, Greg. Thanks for running the net. I don't think I've got much to add, really. Thanks for your comments back on my comments, as it were. And let's see how things keep going, as it were. And probably won't be up next week, but you never know. G4NRC, G4KL, signing, just listening to the end.
G4NRC returning to G4KIL. Okay, yeah, no problem. So we'll see how next week goes. The import of a 315 pickup has just landed on me that this could be a problem, but we'll sure between Graham and myself we'll sort something out. Right, so we don't try and leave anybody behind. Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta M7 VSD G4NRC over. G4NRC, still nothing heard from Stephen. So Mark, Golf 1 Yankee Whiskey Yankee, Golf 1 Yankee Whiskey Yankee, G4NRC, over. G4NRC, equally nothing heard. Okay, let's bring that to a close then. So thanks everybody for taking time out this afternoon to take part in the net. Be careful, especially in the weather warnings. Have a good week, and until next Sunday afternoon at 1600 hours local time, I'll close the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net on talk groups 23531 Pheonix and Brandmeister and 5023531 on the RAYNET-UK server, and return those talk groups to being an open net rather than a directed net. 730, this is G4NRC now closing and reverting to my normal call sign of Golf 0 Delta Uniform Bravo. Bye bye.